Howdy folks, this video is going to be about how to remove the dash in your 9th gen Honda Civic. I happen to have a Civic SI coupe and I'm taking the dash out in order to change the heater core. All of these videos, or most of these photos and videos that are going to be included in this YouTube video, are taken in reverse while I am putting things back together. And it's my hope that some of this information will be helpful to the next person that does the job. First thing you're going to want to do before starting work on this project, removing the dash or changing the heater core, is you want to disconnect the battery. And you guys probably already know this, but of course disconnect the negative terminal first, and then the positive terminal. I'm getting ready to reconnect them, so obviously I'm going to go the opposite direction, but opposite order. But you know, it's just a good precaution because you don't want to like inadvertently trigger an airbag into your face when you're taking stuff apart. So before you start work and start removing components, you're also going to want to empty out the refrigerant from your air conditioning lines. And please do everyone a favor and the environment and actually use a refrigerant recovery machine, not just vent it into the atmosphere. I'm using my brother. He has my brother's recovery machine. He has an old one. It's kind of a big thing, but it does the job. Anyway, so there's that. In addition to the refrigerant, you're going to need to drain the coolant. And the coolant drain is down here. There's a fan kind of on the driver's side of the radiator, and there's this little drain plug here. And one thing to note is that I had to take off this plastic from underneath the vehicle in order to drain that. You might be able to do it without, but I needed to take that plastic off. These are the clips that were used to attach that bottom plastic to the underside of the front of the vehicle. And it's pretty common for these things, you know, because of the road grime and whatnot, to either get sort of mangled, you know, in removing them. I'll probably actually reuse that one. Or to have some of the tabs break off. Like that, and so I just ordered, you know, a couple packages of these. There's two varieties. There's the short ones here, and the little bit longer ones. And so this is what I ordered off of Amazon, and I'll try to make a link in the description. And then these are the longer ones that I ordered off of Amazon. This little piece just clips in right here. And you're going to need to take it off in order to get your wipers off. Alright, to take the wiper off, you just need to pop off this little rubber cover here, and then it's a 17 millimeter bolt. Take that off, and then the wiper should come off. I had one of mine stuck, so I had to fabricate a little wiper blade puller out of 2 carriage bolts, these two on the side, and then a regular bolt. These are all 1/4 20, but that allowed me to reach under, hook it, and then pop that blade off. Okay, so this corner plastic piece just clips in. One thing to note is that clip on the back, which clips into that slot right there, these clips often break. This one is broken. And so I just bought these replacement parts on Amazon. All right, after you get the wiper blades off, you need to remove this plastic piece and the stamped metal bar that is underneath it. This guy just removes via a clip here. There's another clip right there, and then a third clip right there. Got to disconnect the hose for the washer fluid, and then this whole plastic piece just slides forward. Once you take that off, the bar is going to have 3 12 millimeter bolts at this end, three 12mm bolts at this end, and then there will be 1, 2, 3 10mm bolts. You're going to need an extension to reach down under the windshield to get them. Okay, so for this clip and that clip over there, one of those has been lost down in the engine somewhere, and one of them was mangled anyway. So I bought these replacement ones off of Amazon. There's the information so that you can buy some if you need them. Okay, on the driver's side A pillar connector, there's 3 clips. The middle one and the lower one, they just pop out. You're just gonna kind of pull them. This one here is a little funny. It clips on to that part right there. See if I can kind of show you. Yeah, so that clips in there, and that long tab on that thing allows this to come a little bit free, and but it'll get caught on the backside of that nylon bit right there. And so in order to get it out, if you can just reach in and just press down on this little tab and press up on the other little tab. Let's see if I can do this. There we go. That whole thing comes right out. And so I think you do want to have the 2 halves of this thing separated for reinstallation, but when it comes to disassembly, this is going to be the easier route. The sill cover is attached only with clips, and this is the passenger side one. Driver's side's just a little different. And these green clips, they just go into these holes here. So there's like 4 up and down, and then there's, let's see if we can do it here. There's like 1, 2, well, I don't know. They're in here though, and they just kind of go, you know, into the sill that way. But something to note, like when you pop this up, you know, this is going to be in here, kind of like this, and you're gonna pop it up, and that'll pop these out. But then you can just like pull the whole thing up, and because these clips have, you know, they'll disengage on the bottom, what you'll end up doing is just leaving the clips in the sheet metal, and then you can go back and pull them out afterwards. Okay, minor correction here. Don't actually pull those out of the sheet metal afterwards. Leave them in the sheet metal, because if you take them out of the sheet metal and then hook them back in here, there's really not enough room to fit that down in between the seat and the sill. So you really do, when you go to reinstall, you do need to shove this down and re-engage those clips. Hey, just a couple other things for this sill plate right here. In order to get it off, you're going to have to unbolt the driver's side seat belt, and it's you know, it's just right underneath this little rubber cover. I'm reinstalling this thing, so I'm just going to pop that back in there. Maybe. Okay, there we go. And then up here at this side, this little cover, it just pops on. So just kind of, let's do this here. There we go. So you just want to pop it off from the bottom. This driver's side sill cover is basically the same as the passenger side, with a couple exceptions. One is that you got to navigate around this trunk release here. It has to fit in that slot or come out of that slot. This lock, you don't take that out. It just kind of fits into that hole there, and the little tabs on the lock engage and do the right thing. And then, before you can take that out, you see from the other side, there's a screw here, and it engages that hole. And so from the top, you know, basically that screw gets screwed into there. So you'll have to take that out. This little cover, it covers up this sort of area down by your feet on the left and right hand sides, and it's mostly just clips. There's one of these kind of green clips that goes in that hole right there. You see two holes kind of close together, goes in the forward one. These little hooks go underneath the door seal, and then this end here, it gets one of these, and that goes into there. To take the shifter knob off, we just got to put that down, and then you see the wrench flats there. That's a 15 millimeter, and you want to screw this so that this part right here goes down while you're holding this. Once you get that part broken free by screwing it down just the tiniest little bit, then both parts you can just unscrew them completely freely off the top. This lower panel, interior panel, it goes underneath the steering wheel, just kind of like that. Anyway, it's all just clips all around. This little center cubby hole, it goes right there, and there are 4 clips, 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and then it also has two of these screws here, and they just go right there and there. The center console, it just has clips. There's no fasteners, no screw fasteners, so it just pops up. The cup holder, it just clips in place, clips on both sides here. There's no fasteners, no bolts. This just kind of fits over here. There we go. And then just pop that down into place. Or I guess in your case, if you're taking it apart, pop it up. This little back cover on the back of the center console, it's just 6 clips, just pops right off. No fasteners. And you have to take it off in order to get to these 2 screws to release this whole center console. Well, this big center console thing is actually held on with remarkably few fasteners. On the driver's side and passenger side, this hole right here, it just gets one of these kind of clips. You just pop out that center part, and then it'll come out. And then there's just 1, 2. I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, and then there's 4 and 5 under the carpet in the little cubby hole. Those are the 8 millimeters, and 2 silver Phillips head screws right here and there on the backside. So in order to get that top steering wheel cover off, all I did was I used a tool like this, and I just kind of fit it in this gap right here and pry it a little bit over the top of the headlight and turn signal switch. And then same thing over here on this side. I just kind of fit that in right there and pry it a little bit, and that cover pops right up. This is the upper steering wheel cover. This bit is flexible rubber, and I'm putting this back in after all this dash stuff is on. That might not be the best time to do it, but it'll go because that's all flexible. But anyway, there's no fasteners. It's just clips here on the side, and these 2 kind of slide in the back. So when this comes out, you're going to want to pull it sort of forward in order to release those clips right there. This is the bottom steering wheel cover, and it's just held on with 3 screws. There's one that goes right there, and then one here and one here. The one in the middle is this style of screw. It has like a built-in washer to it, and then the other ones are just those guys. This radio and heater controls assembly is it's got some clips around the top edge and the sides, but it also has 2 bolts here, which are these guys, and they attach to this bracket there, so you'll have to get to them from below. And then there's also these screws here and here, so those are going to go, you know, here and there. You know, one other thing I think I should mention on this radio and heater controls assembly, obviously there's going to be a lot of connectors, but this connector right here has this kind of white locking lever. You have to like flip it up in order to unlatch it. The rest of them are the normal style. We just press down on the little tab here. The glove box is just 2 bolts to take it off. One of them on that hinge right there, and the other one on that hinge. This little trim piece here, it goes above and to the left of the glove box. It's all clips except for one screw that goes right here, and that screw goes into that little nut right there. Okay, so the passenger side airbag is a panel, and it just pops in all the way around the edges. You know, all these little clips, they just snap in. There's also one kind of here in the middle-ish, but that just all pops in. And then there's 3 nuts that get fastened on to bracket. Where's that bracket? I think it's somewhere, yeah, right there. It's fastened onto that bracket. So I'll show you. All right, here's the passenger side airbag, just loosely in place. You know, it's just lifted there. It's just a matter of popping up these clips all around. I think there's one kind of in the middle over here also, but I'm putting it back, so. And this one, okay, got that all kind of snapped down. And then now I've got these 3 nuts here, and they just are going to attach to those studs that are part of the actual like explosive part of the airbag. These little covers on the left and right hand sides of the dash that cover up the area where the door closes, they're all clips all around, although back here at the back edge they're tabs, and they fit into some slots there. So when you pop this out, you're gonna have to like pull it towards the back of the vehicle, and note that the door seal is gonna want to prevent that from being pulled. The door seal's flexible, so you can either pull the door seal off or just kind of, you know, finesse it out from behind there. This driver's side vent, it's just clips all around. There's no fasteners, and there's one connector. This bezel for the tachometer is only clips all around, no fasteners. So it just goes right in here and pops into place. This large upper bezel around the main instrument cluster, it's just clips all the way around. And that's, you know, from basically from there all the way around the back side, and then over here on this side, and there's just 2 fasteners, 2 screws here and here. To take the steering wheel off, it's just 4 fasteners. There are 2 studs right there, one there and one there, and so it's just a nut below each one. You're going to need a wrench for that, and actually a wrench with a kind of a swiveling end like that is going to make it a lot easier to get on there. And then down here are 2 other fasteners. There's one and there's one. And also, please remember, before you take that off, set your steering wheel to the straight position so that when you go to put it back on, you can verify that it's engaged in the correct spline. To take off the instrument panel and the tachometer, it's just a handful of Phillips head screws. I'm sorry I didn't get a video snippet of this, but it should just be something like 6 screws to take off the main instrument panel, and then I think it's maybe 4 screws to take off the tachometer, and then disconnect the connectors. And then there's also this little light sensor that needs to be popped out of the dash and disconnected. Hey guys, in terms of releasing the metal frame from the side of the vehicle, there's really just 2 bolts. One of the bolts is right here above the hinge. You got to take off this little plastic cap, and then you'll find this bolt underneath it. And then the other bolt is hidden under this little trim piece. It goes right here. And the way you get the trim piece off is you just use a tool like this to kind of like get under it, and then pry. And then I just pulled this this triangle piece back towards the car, and it popped off of that clip right there. So that's kind of what you're looking at right there. Anyway, the bolts on the other side, we got these 2 here. The bolts on the other side are the same kind of deal. They're just a little bit longer, and they have like a blue anti-seize on them. Hope that helps. Okay, I just wanted to point out something that's kind of neat, kind of clever here on this. I'm over on the passenger side. This only exists on the passenger side, and I'm putting in the bolt that attaches through the side of the car into the steel frame, which is right there. And that kind of thin nut that you see there, what's going on is this bolt has some anti-seize on it. Let me see if I can focus that a little better. There we go. This bolt has some anti-seize on it, and when I screw this in, it kind of interferes, and then this self-adjuster screws out as I'm screwing the bolt in. It's not actually screwing in, but now that self-adjuster is fully adjusted out, and then the bolt actually screws in. So that happens both at this location, and then also for this bolt here, it's really hard to see, but there is a similar self-adjuster kind of right down in that area. Anyway, all right, I've got most of this dash unfastened, but there's something kind of in this area holding it up. I think I may have found the problem, and I think it probably means I'm going to have to remove the steering column. But basically, like if I pull on kind of any of this, right, it's all kind of free, but that is not true in the middle there. Let's see if I can steady this. Hold on a second. So there's something in the middle there that's kind of holding that up. Over here on this side. This whole thing's pretty free over here. And I think the problem is this screw. That screw right there. It comes up from the bottom. And I think I'm probably going to have to take the steering column out. All right, good news. There actually is a way to get that screw out without taking the steering column out. You got to lay on your back and then go up. And it's, you know what? Let me just see if I can show it to you. It's going to be a bit of a challenge. can't find it. Need a flashlight. Ah, there it is. Right there. So it's that hole, kind of right there in the center of the screen. So anyway, it is possible to get that out. I used an 8mm socket on a screwdriver handle. So I think this might be kind of a key tip or key point. In order to get the dash out and the steel substructure out, well, especially get the plastic dash piece that goes all the way across here, this intermediate piece right here needs to be detached. It just rests on top of that. But there are 2 screws at the back edge, right there and there, and those get screwed up from the bottom into the dash. The problem is that there's really no room to get a screwdriver back here until the dash is partway free, because you just can't fit a screw. There's no way to do it. So you get the dash partway free and partway pulled out, and then you can remove this using those 2 screws, taking those 2 screws out. And that's really important because this curve here goes underneath that bar. So until you detach this part from the dash, you're not going to be able to separate the 2 pieces. So this is just a little tip about the component that attaches right here. It's this kind of cover. There's a single screw that goes there, and that screw attaches here. So it would have made being able to remove this would have been really helpful. I took that screw off down there, but I didn't realize there's a little clip kind of dealio here, and so this piece was in the way of detaching the main whatever that plastic dash substrate is from the steel understructure. There was 1 screw in there that was a real challenge to get out, and but if you can remove this, presumably just with a screwdriver under here to pry up over that notch, it'll be a lot easier. Howdy guys, hey, just wanted to show you, I'm pretty close to getting this dash out of the Civic, and there's a cable tie clip, a cable harness clip that is going to be challenging to get to. I want to show you where it is. It's actually for a big run of cable. You can kind of see some of it right here, but it runs back along here, and then somewhere back over here. Yeah, right there is a clip, a zip tie clip, and that clip, where's my flashlight? That clip is actually clipped into this tube, and so, boy, that's going to be hard to see. There it is, right there. So, because it's so deep down, what I'm going to attempt to do is I made this little tool from a piece of aluminum tubing, just notched it out with a bandsaw, and I'm going to attempt to reach in here and then alternately pull on the release tab and push on the other release tab back and forth while I'm wiggling that thing free. So hopefully that works. All right, in the process of putting this together, I think I've got something that may be useful. It's a floppy fucking mess when I took it apart, but there's 2 bolts that go down on this vertical brace and attach right down here, just to the right of the driver's gas pedal foot. Anyway, I think it's probably going to be pretty useful to just loosen that, take the top one out, loosen the bottom one, but don't take it out, because it it really kind of supports this whole structure. All right, this little rounded cover is just held on with a couple of screws. One of those is right there, and the other screw is right down there. All right, for the heater box, you've just got 2 studs right here. They use those 2 nuts. Then these 2 black screws go, let's see, where do they go? There's one right there, and there's another one right there, kind of on the left-hand side. And then there's a screw that goes there, and it's that guy. All right, guys. So when you get the dash out and you're left at this point, there's just a few bolts. There's one right there. There's one down there. There's on the firewall side. There's one bolt just to the passenger side of the heater core tubes, and there's one bolt in between the AC tubes. So you're going to need to discharge the air conditioning system before taking this thing off. And then once that's all discharged, then you can take off those 2 bolts on the firewall side.
And they're actually nuts.
Oh yeah, they're nuts. Thank you. Yeah, that's my brother. He's helping me out. Yeah, so this unit has studs that stick through the firewall, and then there are nuts on the other side. The nut for the heater core tubes is a 12 millimeter socket, and then it's a 10 millimeter socket for the other one. You know what? I'm going to show you because they're hard to see. They're hard to get to. I had to use a universal to get to them. Let me see if I can do this. So just so you get a sense for like where I'm coming in. There's that one right there. That's the one for the heater core tubes, and then for the vacuum, there's that one right there. Yeah, in between those. All right. Okay, so we've got the old heater core out. This is the whole heater box unit, heater cooling box unit. I don't know what it's called. And in order to get the heater core out, we've taken the old one out, by the way, and slid the new one in. You have to take the evaporator out. And to take the evaporator out, it just slides out, but there's a single screw right there. And I'll show that to you here in a second. Okay, you got the evaporator back in, and the screw that holds the evaporator in basically holds in this plastic piece here. That screw is right there.